Fox Next responds to the boycott response, and we are responding to Fox Next response in this video, guys. Yes, I am joined by Casino for your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. How much is he gonna watch his tongue this week, guys? I don't know. Toad is coming to the game. Who else? We will see what we can dig up, guys. And if you're ready for it, you know what to do. Let's go smash it!
Alley flying.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? Valley Flying here. I am back with your Marvel Strike Force weekly news update. As usual, I am joined by my partner in crime, the ever controversial Casino. What is up, man? How are you doing?
What's going on? Where are you gonna green screen me into this video? Make it somewhere classy.
Someplace classy. I think we'll go someplace classy this time.
All right, perfect.
All right, so how have you been, my friend?
I've been good. How about you?
I have also been good. I've been in hard training for my first jiu-jitsu tournament. Very nervous about that, so we'll see what happens with this thing. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the news of Marvel Strike Force. So many things going on outside of the game. So many things going on in the game. Check out some links down below, guys. It's still going on in TeePublic right now, but let's get right into the news. All right, new challenge tiers. We get some new ones. Every single one of them had at least one. Some have two new tiers that were added, and I think they all have two. Some have three, but we got new challenge tiers regardless. What are your thoughts on these? They are freaking hard, dude.
Okay, so they all got two tiers added,
Okay.
but some they just have like different amounts. Like some I think go up to tier 10 and others go up to tier 12, which was always the case, and it was always
maybe
weird.
That's what
I think
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird like that. And I think like way back when they first released them,
Yeah.
you can tell. So some of them are by class and some of them are by origin. So I think there was going to be like a set of ones for origin and a set of ones for class, and they were going to be like different numbers or whatever. But yeah, it's a mess. But so yeah, the new challenge tiers are very tough. I did manage to 3-star all of them, but several of them took me like 5 hours of not only using. Oh yeah. Not only did I have to use like the absolute perfect strategy where like every move sets up something like in the next rotation and the next wave, but then I just had to do them over and over until I got just the right RNG. Yeah, most of them were very tough.
Did you finish? You finished
But
all
so,
of them? You finished all of them?
Yep,
Sweet.
I 3-star them all, and I have it all recorded. So I'm doing a series. I put the gold tier 11 and 12 video out, and I'm gonna be letting people in the comments of that vote on which one they want to see me do the breakdown on next.
All right, check out this video, guys. The link is down below for that video, as well as his channel and everything where you can check him out. But leave your
couple.
votes.
Sorry to cut you off. Just a couple more comments on the challenges. The first thing is like I'm kind of torn, right? Because I put out like these guides about like here's how I was able to beat it, and naturally most people watch that and are like, well, I tried it, I can't do that. I don't have this character. I don't have high red stars on that one. Like, and I feel bad, obviously, but I think they made the new challenge tiers so that almost no one could beat them. Like I think that's what they were going for, is that most people are not going to be able to beat them right now. The main reason I say this is they are, at least the very last stage ones, are designed around gear tier 14. And have you seen the stat jumps for that?
Yeah, they have a big stack jump from 13 to 14 on the gears, and
massive.
I think they also have the recommendation of 4 red stars, which are totally out of our controls, and I know that was upsetting a lot of the community as well.
Yes,
so, but
it is, and well, so there's a couple. I mean, the general consensus is that it's out of our control, and it is random, and you can't make yourself have 4 red star. But so just a couple counterpoints. So I'm not saying I agree with it. It's not how I would have done it, but I just wouldn't have brought in red stars in the first place, so it doesn't really matter. But so the first thing is, while it's aimed for 4, like you might just have bad luck and be like, I just can't seem to get more than 3 on this one person. Yeah. But you could also have 5 or 6 on someone else that might make it a little bit easier. And then 4 red star is they've intentionally designed red stars where like 4 red stars where everything balances out. Yeah. So I totally understand most players are not at a point where they have pretty much everyone at 4 red star, but a lot of the super late game blubbery whale players pretty much have everyone at 4 red star. Like that's just kind of where it settles. So I think that's who they had in mind when they did it. Again, you know, I don't love it, but it's for a lot of late game players. I don't think it's that crazy unreasonable. And then the other thing is, especially like they've mentioned that they're going to start giving us those silver promotion credits with the daily achievements. Mm-hmm. So obviously, plenty of people are going to have higher priorities than like just taking up an entire challenge team. But if you really, really wanted to, at least you have the option to, you know, over time use those promotion credits and any other ones you get, and they're being a little bit more generous with the login calendars and stuff. So just getting someone to 4, it's only 50. It's not, it's not that outrageous, and you'll probably only be like 1 or 2 characters. I guess what I'm saying is it's not like the most unreasonable thing. It's kind of BS, but it's not.
All right. Well, I mean, you sent me a couple different options before we started recording about what they could have done with the tier challenges, and you want to talk about some of the options that you sent me over, because I mean it does seem kind of reasonable when you put it that way. I liked it at first, and then I saw some of the teams that people were not beating with. But if it's more of a long game, passing the first tier right now and maybe passing the second tier, then I kind of get it. But these are ridiculously hard.
They are insanely hard, but I mean it's good to have content that's very, very challenging. And so here's and I don't have strong feelings about how I would have done this personally. I like a challenge, but I understand that what's challenging for me is just straight up impossible for a lot of people. And the problem is, of course, everyone wants it to be perfectly maximum challenging for them. But what's perfectly maximum challenging for them, someone else might just walk right through it, and then it's not content for them. So there's always that. But so the main complaints that I've been seeing, and I want to be clear before I even start this, I'm not like FoxX did it absolutely right, you're all crazy. I'm curious to see how the community would have wanted them to do it, and so that's why I'm putting this out to you guys. And at the end of the day, like ultimately, whatever makes the community the happiest is probably what they should have done. But so the main complaint I've been seeing is like they're super, super hard, and the rewards suck. It's not worth the investment because the rewards aren't that good. And so pros and cons to that. And again, I'm just playing all sides of the field here, presenting all the options, feel however you want. But specifically, if we're talking super hard with crappy rewards, if it's going to be super hard, it's probably better that the rewards aren't that good, because if the rewards were super good, it would you would have to stop what you're doing and focus on that and make sure that you were getting those as soon as possible, right? So like the other option would be if it was super hard and the rewards were really good, now just only whales would be getting like these amazing epic rewards, and they would just be getting farther and farther ahead of everyone. So at least with bad rewards, the people who can do it aren't getting that far ahead. And then the third option is like they could have just made it super good rewards and super easy. But then, like, one of the main issues people have had is like, oh, there's no new content. So if they put out the challenges and then like within a day or two, everyone beats them, then it's like a week later, it's like, yeah, so anyway, when are we getting new content? It's nothing to do. So, everyone will have their own opinion on what they should have done. Again, I don't have strong feelings about this. I like that it was very, very challenging, but I can see why people would be frustrated if it's just outright impossible for them, which I think a lot of people are in that position. But I don't know what the right answer is.
I think a lot of the frustration has to do with kind of the timing of this. A lot of the previous issues of the game being brought to light with this boycott, and then like, oh, we need more resources, and then it's like, oh, we got more resources coming with these challenges, and then they come out like, oh, these are really, really hard. So I guess that's where kind of the disconnect is. And obviously I would want more rewards as well. But, you do bring that the no new content, because right now I'm like, oh, I got to pass these challenges. I got to find a way to build my teams to pass these challenges. And, I'm having to build characters for these challenges. And I don't know, I may be in a minority. I kind of like that, though. I'm kind of like, oh, I got to build this character. I got to build this character. Oh, I want to try this team. And the thing about the challenges, you said you took 5 hours to do it. That's if you have the time, it's a good thing, because it's content you can play over and over and over. And if you have the time, that's kind of what I enjoy, trying to figure out the puzzle, kind of like a game of chess. Which character goes first, or who should I attack? Oh, this is not working. Let me bring a new character. And I kind of enjoy that. But guys, let me know what you think. What would you rather have seen? And is your decision kind of based on the timing of this whole new boycott issue? But yeah, we could ramble on about these challenges for another few minutes. But let's talk about some of the good things that they did. I think they're more of a gesture than anything else, but they slightly increased the gold from the minimum pulls from the gold orbs, and they added a few more rows of orange gear in a few of the shops. So what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is something like, oh, this is what we need to do, or is like, oh, this is a gesture for the community because they're very upset of all the previous issues in the game?
It's both. So I know we're gonna talk in a bit about the videos that we both did with Tony Scungili, but
yes.
One of the things that he mentioned was like, it doesn't even matter if people's feelings aren't necessarily based on logic or math. Like at the end of the day, it's your customers, and so even if you can prove like, oh no, you have a sufficient amount of this resource, it doesn't matter if people feel like they don't. Mm-hmm. You're still doing something wrong. Like that was my big takeaway from my conversation with him. Is, you know, I was just looking at like, oh, well, your feelings are wrong, so don't worry about it. But he was like, well, part of what they're doing here in building a game that's for entertainment is taking people's feelings into consideration, even when those feelings go against what the math says. So, you know, it was a nice gesture. People said they felt like they needed more orange gear and they felt like they needed more gold. So FoxNext said, here's more orange gear and here's more gold. So, you know, I don't see how that could be a bad thing. There will always be people who are like, that was nonsense. We needed 10 more rows and 50 times as much gold. But, you know, more is more.
I think we could have used a bit more gold, minimum gold from those gold orbs. The orange gear, I think that's cool. But I think we could have
I don't
used
mind.
more gold. A lot more gold from those gold orbs, the minimum pulls.
Yeah, my final comment on this particular matter is I tell people all the time, like, I will debate people who say we need more of this, we need more of that, because I don't like that phrasing. I don't say a word to people who say, I want more gold, I want more orange gear. I don't say a word to them because I totally get where they're coming from.
I want more gold, I want more orange gear.
Right. So when they give us that, I'm like, yeah, that's what everyone wanted. That's cool. Awesome. So
well, you mentioned it. You mentioned both of us had our conversations with Tony Scungili, kind of, and I really wanted to talk to him because he had a counterpoint to you, and I know there was a lot of people that didn't like the news video last week because people are taking sides on this fix MSF movement, the boycott, and said either this way or this way. I'm kind of trying to let's make the peace with FoxNext. Let's get the game going back to how it is. Let's fix the game.
Well,
let's do all that stuff. So
quick comment on that. So when I opened my vid with Tony, I said like people are painting me as like he's completely opposed to the boycott, and it's like there are absolutely aspects of the boycott that I think would be bad for the game health overall.
Yeah.
But there's also plenty of things about the boycott that I completely support. So I said when I opened, I'm like a 5 out of 10 on the boycott, and a lot of people in the comments have been basically saying like, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Yeah. So I've been just responding to people with like, only a Sith deals in absolutes.
Yes, yeah, and of course we know you're not a Sith dealing in absolutes. But you had a conversation with Tony. Did that conversation change any of your opinions other than the feelings? And I do want to bring up one thing that he said a little later.
So a couple things. In general, it was two main points that were kind of like mindset takeaways. The first one was again him saying like, again, I'm very like, feelings don't matter that much, and I say that because a lot of times feelings are at odds with the actual numbers. So like one of the best examples of like your feelings are getting in the way here is I constantly hear people throwing around like, why do you think the game is dying? Obviously the game is dying and that's why blah blah blah. And I'm like, I totally get that those are your feelings, but we can look at player engagement, how many people are participating in Blitz, how many new players signed up, how the spending is going in the app. And I'm like, this game is showing every single possible sign of a healthy, growing game. There's absolutely no data other than angry Reddit threads to suggest that the game is dying. So that's one of those things where I'm like, you're misrepresenting facts by letting your feelings color them. So, I come from a standpoint of like, let's try to take the feelings out of it and look at the numbers. But Tony was making an excellent point in saying, you know, people's feelings matter, especially when the whole point of this is to provide entertainment to people.
Yeah.
Foxnex has a responsibility to do it in a way that isn't hurting people's feelings also. And I agree with that completely. That's a very fair point. And then the other thing that he said that swayed me a bit was just in regards to like some of the Orange Gear bottlenecks. Again, even though I think that, Orange Gear, of all the bottlenecks they currently have, I would sooner get rid of other bottlenecks than I would specifically Orange Gear as a bottleneck, because Orange Gear as a bottleneck is what's allowing all the newer and mid-game players to catch up to all the people bottlenecked by the Orange Gear.
Yeah.
And then by the time those people caught up, then they can open up Orange Gear and everyone will kind of progress together-ish. So, not letting the whales plow too far ahead is something I personally support. But he was saying, like, there's like 3 or 4 different bottlenecks within Orange Gear, and you only need like 1, maybe 2. You don't need all of them. I was like, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of like that
those
idea.
are my main.
Just making those mini uniques because and easing up in the bottlenecks of the other ones, because people have already, the end game players already got into Fear of Darkness. Newer players should get into that a lot quicker. One thing I did want to touch on, I wanted to hear you guys expand on this a little more. The gold bottleneck that people's feeling and people wanting more gold comes from a more underlying issue of a lot of things needing gold. Do you think that is what really the problem is? Just having everything require gold, ranking up characters, leveling up characters, gearing up characters, all this stuff requiring gold, buying gear for your characters in stores, because that's pretty much the only place that we could get the Orange Gear that we want is either in the normal store or the war store. Do you think that this is the bigger issue and not just the supply of gold?
Yes and no. So, the problem is what they've done is they've conditioned people to think that like one resource has one purpose. Like a lot of resources have a single purpose. Like, why do you need training modules? To train characters. You can't trade them in for anything else. That's what your training modules are for. When you get your Blitz currency, you can spend that on Blitz orbs or Blitz shards. That's what your Blitz currency is for. So when they allow gold to be used for like 10 different things, it puts people in a position where they're constantly forced to realize like, oh, I want all of these things, but I only have this much gold, so I have to either put it in A or B, and I want A and B, so I don't want to, this is unfun, I need more of this because it's forcing me to choose. And like that feeling is going to, like when you have a system where you are forced to do your own resource management.
Yeah.
You're the only, it's like when you tell, when someone's like, and I'm not saying like everyone struggling financially is being financially irresponsible, but when you have someone who is being financially irresponsible and you say like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be, spending $800 a month on beer, maybe that's why you can't afford to fix your car. The person never wants to hear that. They're like, no, it's not, that's not the problem. I just need more money. My boss just isn't paying me enough. So it's kind of one of those things.
But do you think that's good game design, though, to put that kind of thing into a game where there's this resource that's required for everything in the game, and then we have other bottlenecks in other places? Have you experienced that in other games, that there's one resource that's required in a large quantity for a multitude of things?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like I come from MMOs, and so especially in MMOs, like depending on how open world it is, like how much currency you're able to accumulate, you can buy all sorts of stuff. You can buy gear with it, like high level gear. You can literally like hire other players to do stuff. Like it gets real crazy. So I see some of the solutions people are asking for is like, make this stop costing gold, make this stop costing gold, then we'll all have more gold. But at the end of the day, the way that devs see gold, I'm imagining, is like, if we give them this amount of gold, generally speaking, they'll progress this quickly on stuff. Now, I am optimistic about Gear Tier 14, so this is going to be a controversial hot take here. I think Gear Tier 14 is going to allow the devs to give us more gold, because for the longest time, levels have mattered more than gear.
Yes.
So they can only give us so much gold, because if people are getting too many levels on too many characters, that's how they are keeping people from progressing at a certain speed. And you can disagree with like how fast or slow they think you should be progressing. I have no say in that, you know, I whatever. But now that gear tier 14 is like where the main power lies, I think we can afford to have more gold to level characters, because now even just getting someone to max level doesn't matter as much as getting them to max gear. So I think they're setting themselves up to be able to give us a bunch of gold.
Interesting. Sounds logical, because that is a big jump from 13 to 14 in the power and all the stats. So, you know, hopefully this will be like, yeah, you guys need orange gear. You don't need as much gold. So I'm hoping you're right. I'm hoping you're right on this.
Well, we can give you more gold and you'll still need the orange gears. I think what it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I thought I said, but maybe I, you know, sometimes I say things, I think I'm communicating it, but it doesn't really communicate that well.
You'd said that they would stop thinking we needed the gold. Like, no, we'd still need it, but just they could afford to give it to us, and it wouldn't, you know, it wouldn't suddenly be everyone's got everyone max power, basically.
Yes, I think that, yeah. Anyway, that's what I meant. All right, so yeah, hopefully they'll give us more of that, and we won't have to worry about levels and other things. We'll just have to worry about collecting gear pieces and not multiple bottlenecks. But let's talk about this dev blog. I was pretty pleased with this dev blog. They talked about a multitude of things. Let's go skip to the bottom, because I think that's where the biggest news item of this whole thing is a note on red stars, and this is a pretty long note. Now, from the looks of it, it looks like they want to fix red stars. They have no clue how to do it. What is your interpretation on their take on red stars?
So actually, I don't think that they are at a loss for how to fix it. So I think that they are trying to tread carefully, because again, everyone paints me as like the guy who loved red stars when they came out, which has never been true. Again, just go watch my original video. If you're going to try to say that, just go watch the original video. I make it very clear that I'm more against red stars.
I know what your thoughts were. I know what your thoughts were. I know how the community precedes you and what your actual thoughts were. So
good.
I know.
However, even in that video, I did say there were some positives to red stars. Some people don't agree with that, but I do think there are some positives to red stars. And I think that like if there was one single positive aspect of red stars, it's that it allows newer and free-to-play players to have some level of competition against even the whaliest of whales, because as you and I know, we can open orb after orb after orb and not get any 7 red stars, and then a free-to-play player can get 3 7 red stars and have a stronger Alliance War team than us. And in our position, obviously very frustrating, like, hey, I've been playing longer, I've been playing more hours, I've put more money in, and I'm still weaker than this guy. This is BS. Like, I should absolutely be able to control being stronger than Johnny Lucky. And that's, of course, a fair point. Anyone who says that, I totally get where they're coming from. However, what a lot of people are asking for, like what a lot of people perceive the fix of red stars is like, just let us make the characters we want as strong as we want. Like, just let us pick. Rather than make it random, let us go where we want to go. And I think they have to be careful with how much they yield to that, because if they actually were just like, all right, it's not random anymore, you guys can, you know, just earn promotion credits and power up however you want to power up. Now, all of a sudden, the whales have full 7 red star meta teams, and the free-to-play players are like still working on like their first or second 7 red star team. And it's just, now it's like, hey, if you're new or free-to-play, just, you have no hope, no chance. You're not even going to get lucky and have a chance. Just good luck. Because you're screwed. So that's where I think they're like trying to find that balance. Is there's a large silent majority, and I know this because I get constantly PM'd about it. Like, everyone is afraid to come out and say, you know, I kind of like this about red stars. Like, if you do that, you're getting downvoted in oblivion. So instead of all those people like PMing me and whispering me and being like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, as a newer player,
take the brunt of the community backlash for us.
Yeah.
Communicate this to people.
Yeah, but they'll PM me and be like, hey, just between us, like, I kind of like that I can get high red stars and compete, and you know, even if you've been playing longer. So I think the devs don't want to completely remove that aspect. I think it's again, if there's one good thing about red stars, it's that it is actually fairly free to play friendly.
It's debatable.
I mean, nothing's truly free to play friendly.
I mean, one or two lucky pulls, but eventually the wheels are going to catch up, I think. One thing that they mentioned here is the power curve, and I don't think that's something that a lot of us have been talking about for a while. I know when it initially came out, like, whoa, this power curve is horrible, and RNG, these two elements combined make this such a bad system. And everybody's talking about the RNG, and I've forgotten how bad the power curve was until this blog post. Do you think just the ramp up of the red stars and their power curve, fixing that, making that a little more even, is a solution to this?
Sort of. So again, I kind of have mixed feelings on this one because in my original, like the very first video I did covering red stars at all, I said this power curve, my actual words were, the power curve is dog shit. I said that verbatim.
And nothing has changed.
No, nothing's changed. But here's the problem is once you put it in that way, then it becomes difficult to mess with it too much because you end up unintentionally devaluing. So like, you know, if like right now, 4 red stars are 20% stats and 6 red stars are 50% stats. But if they change that to be 4 red stars are 40% and 6 red stars are 60%.
Yeah, just straight curve.
Right. And like I think overall that curve is better. But now like the guy who last week got his lucky 6 red star pull, it just kind of got watered down by the fact that
I got a 7 red star A monstrosity. I wouldn't be mad if they brought that down to 70%.
Well, you were barely happy that you got it. But no, my point is like the value perceived in having that rare super strong character gets watered down. It's like, well, all right, we're actually going to make all the other ones
overall
stronger.
good of the game, overall good for the health of the game. I mean, there'll be some people that complain, but will the overall community complain about that?
That's the question. I think it would be better for the game, and I think if most people just straight up signed on and were like, I don't mind, you can equalize my red stars, you can make my 7 stars down to 70 and my 6s 60 and my 5s 50. I think if
just make it straight, just make it straight.
Maybe they would. That's what I wanted from the get-go. But I'm guessing that's their.
It only took us over a year to revisit this, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I that's the other thing though, and I predicted this in the original video too. When they come out with something like this, for the first year, they're just trying to get as much money as possible out of it.
It's been about 3 months, over a year, so.
Oh, that's why that's why I'm now firmly on the side of like, what are you guys doing over there? I said I'm giving it a year. When that year is up, they get absolutely zero sympathy from me. It's at this point that now it needs to be a purely player-friendly feature, which of course it has not been. So
nope.
Yeah, no, their time's up with me.
All right, so hopefully we see some of these promises fulfilled. I think that is a word of a lot of the community, cautiously optimistic for everything in here. Let's talk about character cadence, because this was a big one for me. This was one of my big complaints with this. Now, they said their goal was to make at least 2 characters farmable per month. They may be occasional months we fall short of this goal, but we'll strive to provide more months like February or exceed that goal, which was kind of slightly lost there in the wording. But so we're getting Namor, we're getting Graviton, and Colossus. What do you think of this? Do you think they're going to exceed it more, or they're going to fall short more? What do you think is going to happen?
I think so. Someone raised a very interesting point that I hadn't even considered, and this is one of those moments where I wanted to slap myself in the face for not putting this together. But someone pointed out, like, hey, I think the reason that they intentionally built up a big backlog of unreleased characters is so that when they put out new campaigns, they have characters to put there.
That was my next question.
So now that I'm thinking about, like, we're going to get at least 2, possibly 3 more farmable characters in Hero, at least 2, maybe 3 more possible farmable characters in Villain, at least 2, maybe 3 more possible farmable characters in Nexus. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. They're going to literally be forced to make a bunch of characters farmable in the near future.
Are you expecting them to add characters to these nodes or to these new campaigns?
Absolutely.
I am as well, but this is Fox Next we're talking about. So, you know,
I think
Foxx has a reputation. Scopely, I think their reputation is a little worse. So I am not sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I don't know Scopely, but I also don't know that Scopely is going to be exerting that much influence. Marvel Strike Force already makes a terrific amount of money, so I find it unlikely that Scopely is going to look at how much money it's making and be like, no, you're doing this all wrong. Like literally a week ago, it was on the Play Store top highest grossing list. So you know what I mean? Like
that's during the boycott.
Just like the day the boycott started, the game was
okay.
But having said that, since the boycott has started, you can look at how much money the game has been bringing in. The boycott barely even moved the needle. Like the spending
I guess the people are spending on this thing.
People are spending a lot still. I know people who are on strike on their main account, and their alt account has a 63,000 power Cyclops. I see all sorts of goofy stuff. I see people who are buying the offers but not unlocking the character so that their alliance thinks they're still on strike. I'm seeing a lot of goofy stuff, but that said, I can tell you they're not thrilled with the PR. Even though it's not actually hurting their profits, the fact that like all their social media is dominated by fix your game.
Oh, they handled that a little. We're going to talk about their PR resolution in a little bit. Yeah, I guess the thing with this and the new campaigns coming out, still cautiously optimistic. I'm hoping they do everything they say they do. I hope they're going to add these characters to the new chapters. We'll see. I hope this is a good thing. Slight note here, Killmonger ability got a little bit of nerf, and if you did put the T4 into his basic, you will be getting, you can refund that. Is that correct?
Yes, so it is, but so everyone keeps saying his basic got nerfed, so...
Is it not?
I'm sure this won't score me any popularity points, but technically his basic wasn't nerfed. His description was fixed. Now, his description was misleading. The description indicated that upgrade was a much bigger upgrade, and what it like when you upgraded it didn't do what it said it did.
Oh, so it's just like a typo type thing.
Right, so they're like, we're gonna make it say what it actually does, but now that people are seeing what it actually does, they're like, oh well, then I wouldn't have done it. So they're doing the right thing. They're allowing people to refund it. That's
kind of like Yondu, Rocket, Hawkeye. The descriptions haven't matched in the past, and they're like, all right, you want to refund this stuff? Do it.
This is very simple. They're Fox Next. They screwed it up. They're,
what?
There's gonna be some people like, well, they shouldn't have screwed it up.
No.
There's no case for that. I see comments all the time like, they shouldn't have messed this up. Like, right?
Yes.
They're not like in the office like, yes, we should have. Like, I'm just there. So they're doing the right thing. They're offering people refunds. That's that.
All right, right before the Killmonger thing, I mentioned the Payday event, and as we're recording this, it is going on right now. You think one solution to the gold bottleneck is having these occur more often, maybe twice a month instead of once a month or once every other month? Do you think having these come back more often would help some of the community ease some of the gold crunch issues?
I mean, that's not even a real question. Like, do you think the people struggling with gold would feel better about more gold?
So let me phrase the question this way: how many times do you think we should have this event per month?
As often as makes the players happy.
Once a week.
The most important thing is the players being happy and enjoying the game. So.
I like it. I like it. That wasn't a response I was expecting from. I like it.
Wait, you thought I was like against people enjoying the game?
We gotta have. I thought you were gonna say something like, no, we have to have it once a week because I like yours. I have no comment to that. I like it.
I mean, I again saying like
once a month, not once a week. Once a week is awesome.
Tony made me be more cognizant of like even if people don't need things, the point here is for them to be entertained. Yeah. So okay, cater to the feelings. Whatever.
All right.
No,
catering to the feelings, and they said this in the in-game mail they sent us when they released this Mr. Fantastic Blitz, reducing upping the cooldown to hopefully reduce some time spent in the game. What do you think this is a permanent change they're considering, the 4-hour cooldown for Blitz?
It's gotta be.
I hope so as well. I hope so as well.
I think they're experimenting with it. I think they did it last time, and they did it with a character that people don't really care about, so it barely moved the needle on the Blitz scores because Quake is a super available, super farmable character. Yeah. Now they're doing it with a fairly new character who, even though he has a node, is at least a little bit tougher to get.
Yeah.
And, like, even I don't have him 7-star, so I think they're going to get a better measure of how hard people are going to push for, a Blitz they care about during the 4-hour cooldown. So yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of results they get.
What are you hoping for? The 4-hour or the 2-hour, or maybe back to 6-hour, maybe super old school?
Were you asking which I prefer?
Which would you prefer?
So again, whatever the player base wants. Like if I was the only one who got a vote, I'm fine with 2-hour because it allows the people who want to work the hardest to outwork other people, and it allows me to stream more Marvel Strike Force content and things like that. So for me personally, 2-hour cooldown works better, but this again is another one of those things where, like, the main things where I'll take a stand and be like, this needs to happen or this doesn't need to happen are things where if it goes a certain way, I think it could harm the community. Blitz is a grind competition among the players, and so if most of the players are finding the grind competition unpleasant, and upping the cooldown makes the majority of players find it, more tolerable, then that's what it should be. So whatever most players like, again, if it's just me, I'll go 2-hour, but I had an idea for Blitz way back in the day, which was like, just give everyone, 5 free uses of their team. So if they want to space it out throughout the day, they can. If they want to bang it all out in a big chunk and then be done, they can do that. And yeah, that's how I would do it. But
I like that big chunks. If I got an hour to play, I want to get all my content done in an hour instead of 10 minutes here, another 10 minutes here, 30 minutes later. I just think the compressed time frame works. I like your solution, but this is I see this as a gesture of trying to reduce some of the low quality time in game. Yeah,
absolutely.
Let's talk about some upcoming blitzes. In the blog post, they mentioned the Cyclops event, the Cupid's Battlestone. They mentioned a few blitzes coming up. You can find the Ruby Heart Orb fragments, and it looks like Cyclops will be released via this Ruby Heart Orb. Synthezoid Blitz, Kid Arachnid Blitz, and Sonic Resonance Blitz. And Sonic Synthezoid is Vision, who is coming this Thursday, and I guess the next Monday Blitz will be Miles and Rescue after that,
yes, right? That is correct.
What are your thoughts on this? No new character releases, so no crazy Blitz scores. What do you think?
I think that's the opposite, because the Cyclops milestones are going to be going on for those, so the Blitz scores will be different.
Okay. Well, the scores, it's a lot of battles, not necessarily high scores, though, right? So
that's true.
These are battles you could do down to tier 1 on auto.
It's true.
So,
it's true. I mean, as a Blitz predictor, we are expecting this to raise the scores a bit. Not to the levels that a new character release would, but we're expecting this to, just sheerly by forcing more people to participate in a Blitz that they otherwise wouldn't have. But
what do you think of the release method for Cyclops?
So
interesting.
As a release method, I like it. Like the idea of, while doing something else on the side, you're earning shards of this character. Yes. So like conceptually, I like it. The actual values they went with, this is one of their worst release methods in terms of, if a really hardworking player wants to get the character, you have to get lucky with this release method just to get them to 4 gold star. Even if you absolutely work your ass off, you have to get lucky to get 4 star. So I don't like this release method because of how stingy they are with the shards. But if they just gave us more shards for doing the same thing, I actually like the method.
So how many times have they done this release method? I think it's 3, if I'm remembering correctly.
Ghost Rider and Namor for sure. So this is the 3rd at least.
Okay. All right. So I remember. So what I have in my mind is the first time they did this release method, I got a lot of shards. It was easier to get shards, and then the second time it was harder to get shards. Do you think this is going to be even harder for Cyclops?
It's tough to say. So yeah, we'll see. I'm not sure.
I'm hoping they have better
I don't
drop
think we've
rates.
seen the numbers for it.
I hope they have better drop rates
well,
than
so-
the last one.
So one of the things they've done in the past is the orbs that you get for it. I want to say with Ghost Rider, like his orbs had a bunch of characters with an increased chance to get Ghost Rider, and I think that's what they're doing with Cyclops too. And that's what really made it super terrible.
Yeah, the RNG
You could just keep,
on top of the RNG.
you could just right. You can keep working getting these orbs, and then you're gonna get some shards. Like you should be able to unlock the character no matter what. But the fact that you can just get unlucky, and just keep not getting the character just doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
No one, already like the amount of shards, like the amount of frags per orb that you're getting for each blitz win is already randomized. So whenever they double layer the RNG, that's just asking for people to get irritated.
Yeah, I think that
Like,
started.
I don't
I think they
think
started
there's
that
really
last
ever-
year with that Minerva event. The RNG inside of R&D, the G, and they just kept adding it to other things. It's not fun. It's not fun. My feelings are not happy playing with this double RNG Fox next.
Right. No one likes it, and it feels like even more out of control. It's bad enough when it's like you're going to keep getting orbs, and hopefully you get lucky with the orbs.
Yeah.
But now it's like, hopefully you get lucky enough to get the right amount of orbs, and then hopefully you get lucky with the orbs. It's just, stop doing the double RNG. It's so unnecessary. But I'm going to say this started, I forget if it was the Ant-Man event or the Wasp event, but one of those had, like, you got a random amount of the orb frags, and then you got a random amount of shards from the orb.
But wasn't
And
it
even then,
wasn't
like,
it
right
just wasn't it
around-
just the character though? If I'm, or was it an orb with multiple characters?
I think then it was just the character.
Okay.
But even then, it was still like,
That's not as
I
bad.
used all
though.
my.
That's not as bad though.
It would be better than what we have here, but it was still like I used all my energy and I barely got any frags. Then when I finished getting unlucky with the frags, finally opened an orb, I only got 6 shards, whereas my buddy got 3 times as many frags, opened 1 orb, got 18 shards.
Yeah.
This is BS. He's way ahead of me, and we did the exact same thing. But yeah, just stop making so much progression RNG. It's
Gamble
yeah,
Fest, Marvel Gamble Fest here.
for real. It's not helping. It's definitely not helping.
It's not good PR, right? All right. Good news, or confirmation. Some people caught up on this, licking your chops for Toad and all this blob of information. We got an in-game mail. Toad, Blob, they are coming sometime to the game. What are your thoughts on these characters now that you could finally talk about them? They're officially announced.
So I love Toad. I just think Toad is like a fun character, just like whipping people with the tongue. I'm excited to see the animations. I just always thought Toad was kind of cool. Don't know why. On the flip side, and I know this is a controversial opinion because every time I bring this up, I have just a legion of people like, oh my god, how could you not love Blob? But I just always found Blob boring. Just like, he's a big fat guy.
And he absorbs energy in his blob, right?
Sure.
What is his powers? He's just strong? I don't know. I you know what? More than who these characters are, I am happy that I could finally put my finish my Brotherhood team and then put my Spider-Verse and start to work on a Spider-Verse team. Hopefully I get lucky with these symbiote Spider-Man milestones, which we will talk about. But yeah. What do you think of them as the Brotherhood characters?
They are very classic Brotherhood characters, so yeah, I like it. I think of Blob and Toad as like classic Brotherhood, so I'm all in favor of this. And like I said, I'm excited for Toad. I'll deal with Blob. Hopefully Blob has a good kit, so I don't have to hate him so much. But yeah, I just think he's boring.
Yeah, you think he's gonna be another protector on the team? Because normally the bigger characters are protectors, right? They got Juggernaut already.
Yeah, I'm looking at like the Thing, who's like he does a lot of damage.
Brawler.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go with probably like Blob the Brawler. I don't know. He could be like a secondary tank. I don't know, but I don't know his kit that well, so we'll see. Sorry if you're a big Blob fan. I'm sorry. I don't mean to hate on Blob. Sell me in the comments. Tell me
what
why
is this? We got the casino with all this salt the past 2 weeks, and then we get the nice version of casino this week.
It's the same. I just realized so many people were like, "Oh, everyone knows Casino hates the player base." And I'm like, where? I wouldn't spend hours and hours doing tier lists and free infographics and stuff if I hated the community. So yeah. I guess some people have gotten confused. So I gotta get
slap them on the head.
Yeah. Right. Kill him with kindness.
Kill him with kindness, baby. All right, killing him with kindness. Let's talk about Fox next. Not really being mindful of the community. What about these tone deaf symbiote Spider-Man milestones? What the heck? With all that's going on, the milestones got even worse than they were for the previous milestone characters. What are the Captain Marvel and Coulson? Right? Yes, their names were escaping me for a bit, but yeah, they had better releases. What is up with this getting worse and worse and worse for symbiote Spider-Man?
So I want to be very clear here. I think I fully understand why FoxNext did it. I don't agree with it, but I think I get where they're coming from.
Take this, boycotters.
A little bit. So I think making symbiote Spider-Man offers very well could have been a take this, boycotters. But I think that, so his milestones, they are worse. There's no question. They're just worse. And if there's one thing that I have said 1,000 times to them, like this one personally really, really irritates me because I've said this to them time and time again. Don't just make rewards for something you've already done worse. I know on a technicality, they're like, oh, this is the first time we've done the symbiote Spider-Man milestone.
Oh,
like,
that's BS. You guys have done it for
Captain
Marvel and Coulson. And I don't think they had offers for them either. Now there's an offer for Spider-Man.
They didn't. Well, that's what I'm going to get to. I'm going to touch on that. But yes, like there's no reason to be like, all right, you guys seemed happy enough with the character released last time, so what if it were worse? Like there's just no reason to do that.
You guys should be happy how it was. The good old days. The good old days of grinding.
So I'm very much opposed to that. Having said that though, I believe I'm not supporting them here. I promise you. I am giving you what I think their response would be.
All right.
Not that I think it's a good response, but plenty of people sit there like, I just can't comprehend. So I'm like, let me throw this out there as like a
why they would do this.
Feel free to be like, I've heard what you have to say, and that's some dumb shit.
All right.
That's fine. But here's what I think. So they when they release characters, they have like a general idea planned for like how rare or how not rare a character should be, like how many free to play they want to get the character and at what level, how many spenders they want to get the character and at what level. Okay. So they have these preconceived notions of how rare. Symbiote Spider-Man, they put out an offer for, which they haven't done for either for previous milestone characters. So I think that they intentionally tried to shift Symbiote Spider-Man into slightly more of a pay to win at first milestone character, which again, I don't agree with them doing
awesome
that.
Timing, guys. Awesome timing.
Right. Yeah, no, it's dumb for sure. But I think that they were like, you know, if you want to buy them, you can. Otherwise, this is intended to be a rare character first. And I think that they have a habit of doing this when they know a character's really good, they paywall them more. So I think that like Symbiote Spider-Man is definitely really good. So we're going to let everyone at least unlock him for free pretty much. But if you're not buying him, then you're probably not going to get him very high star, and that way later on we can sell more offers for them or make them rare, desired, and some other thing down the road. I don't like it, but I imagine that's what they're going for. Feel free to, you know, in the comments be like, yeah, that is indeed some dumb shit, but at least that's how I'm wrapping my brain around it.
I don't know. If they're looking for goodwill, this is not the way to do it, in my opinion.
I agree.
This is the way to make money from people, but this is not the way to make the community like, oh, we love you guys.
So all I have been saying, ironically, so it's the spending strike is obviously majority of the spenders are the ones who are upset. And interestingly enough, though, I think that like the people who are actually upset are the free-to-play players. I think that the solution to a lot of this is to be nicer to the free-to-play players. So yeah, and the way I see it, this was not a nice gesture at all to the free-to-play players. So. Yeah, all right. I'm not a fan.
Well, I haven't unlocked him, but I know you have. I know you're in support of a lot of the issues of the spending strike and the boycott, but you're still spending money. So what are your thoughts on Symbiote Spider-Man? That now that you tried him?
He is awesome. He's really, really good. And
that makes this worse. That makes this worse.
I know. So here's the thing: is like I can't even talk about it, or I get vilified. It's like, oh, Casino flaunting in the face of the boycotters how good Symbiote Spider-Man is.
He's a good character. Let's just skip over this.
Yeah, if you want me to go into detail, I will. But he's really awesome, and I fully understand it's the most Fox Next shill thing I can possibly say. But if you're not feeling that strongly about the boycott, from my understanding of Fox Next, they were already intending to address Red Stars. They were already intending to address some of the balance issues and stuff. So, yeah, it's up to you personally. If you want to stick to your guns and conduct yourself with integrity, that's fine too. I don't judge. But Symbiote Spider-Man's awesome. If you buy him, I think you'll enjoy him.
All right. Graviton looks like he is headed to the War Store. I think they said sometime this week, if I'm remembering that correctly. I may not be, but it's sometime in the War Store. What are your thoughts on Graviton finally becoming farmable and in the War Store?
Mixed feelings, because I think the War Store is probably the store that gives you the most hesitation farming a character from there.
Yeah.
Because you can get such great value from your War Store currency spending on other stuff. So it's really hard to spend on shards. So they have a habit of doing what they're doing with Graviton. They're putting really good characters in the War Store, which feels bad because I already consider my war currency so valuable for the things I spend it on.
Yeah.
Now being tempted to also spend it on Graviton is rough. But he is a very good character. I think he's worthy of being in a store that demands, more valuable resources. So I'm glad he's farmable. It's going to suck for me spending war currency on him when I could be spending it on other better stuff, but he's worth it. So
it'll be worth it. I spent it on Pyro. I suffered through that. No gear while I was farming Pyro. So I'm going to have to do the same for Graviton. So you mentioned some of the negative PR, and I was talking about some of the ways that they're combating this kind of business as usual. For them, they have had several sponsored videos in a way to increase the PR. Some of them have backfired. That first guy that they hired, I think, was horrible. Second guy was pretty good.
Jovenshire?
No. The first one, I'm not going to say his name. Jovenshire was pretty good. His squeakiness, I wasn't a fan of, but I think these two that they got this time, better. And bigger channels and reaching out to a large audience. What did you see the videos? What did you think of them?
I did. I watched both videos. They were interesting. So the one, and I forget which is which, but one of them
Thor
showed some gameplay, but it was that one. The one about Thor was a lot more of their own antics, which is fine.
I like that one. It was just a fun one. Didn't really show Marvel Strike Force. Just a couple guys in a room having fun. I like that one. I thought that guy's Thor impression was funny.
Yeah, I was, neither video bothered me.
No,
it just seemed like, I don't know. If it worked for them, sure.
All right, the other one, though, you were kind of in that one.
I was barely in the other one.
Kind of.
They used my infographic, did not credit me. Sad face. They credited MSF.GG for some stuff, but
at least
just used my infographic and did not credit me. But so. I'm in more MatPat videos than I am Strike Time videos. So there's that.
Cool. All right, and I guess let's get to the juiciness. Let's move ahead. Let's look at the boom right here. Here we are. We got the latest data mines. This one was already in the game. The Symbiote Spider-Man got released. This one we just talked about, the Toad one, new. Talking about Heroes Chapter 7, Ultimus will soon tear the Nexus universe apart, and life on Earth will be doomed, Casino. They're talking about Ultimus Ports and Mr. Fantastic joining Strike on their mission, Heroes Chapter 7. Commanders level 70 and above assemble the following top teams: Mission 1 through 3 City, Mission 4 through 6 Global, Mission 7 through 9 Cosmic, and I guess they all have to be heroes. So got to start to assemble some hero teams. What are your thoughts on these heroes
Yes,
requiring
indeed.
different origin traits?
I mean, like mixed feelings. It's not fun to be pigeonholed, but it does force you to use all your characters. So it gives characters that you otherwise wouldn't care about some value. So like just as a random example, if you've been just sitting around with like a 6 red star Miss Marvel, but you don't really use her that much, maybe in like Blitz and War, but she's not like on any of your like main raid or arena teams or anything. Now you're like, for these city nodes, this is my time to shine. I've been waiting to unleash this Miss Marvel or whatever it is. So, it's good to shine the spotlight on some of the less normally active areas of the roster. But yeah, we'll see.
How difficult do you think all this stuff will be, considering it's only commanders level 70 and above?
Does it actually prevent you from? Okay, so it's locked at level 70. I mean, it's probably going to be pretty tough. So whenever
this is according to the data mine. It could be changed, but this, according to the data mine, it says level 70 and above.
Right. So whenever they come out with new campaigns in the past, which is all we can go off of, they've been really, really tough. When they opened a new Mystic chapter, it was super, super tough for a while. When they opened a new Cosmic chapter, it was super, super tough for a while. So I'm hoping that it's not like worse than the challenges, but I would expect it to be tough. The thing is, excuse me, if you just beat it in like 2 days, then they did not accomplish their goal of delivering new content, because it entertained you for like 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it's just clicking auto fight. Like it's in and out of your thoughts in no time. And so, if they make it difficult and you're like, I've been working on this, I'm still working on this, it's more to do. So.
All right, so official prediction. They say you were rewarded with riches, earn orange pieces, character shards, training materials, gold, and more. Do you think the character shards they're referring to are new characters that are currently not farmable, or do you think these are just more nodes to farm previously released characters?
Oh, I guarantee it's gonna. So here's the thing. My understanding of why they hadn't released campaigns previously are because it wasn't... it wasn't going to make them very much money, which is why they avoid plenty of things, is if it's not going to make them enough money. So if they put like the new hero campaign and it's tough, but you'll have another place to farm Bullseye, no one's going to care.
Okay.
Makes
sense from a marketing perspective. So
I'm sure they're going to put some really good characters on there to force you.
So I am looking forward to this, seeing what characters will be on these new nodes.
In fact, I'm gonna make another prediction now. Let me be very clear. I'm just saying this to like be a little bit of a troll. I have absolutely no information that suggests this. I just don't want anyone to like read too into this. I'm not trying to send a message, but
this is not a hint.
It seems like it would. It seems like it would be a totally Foxnext thing to do if you were like, oh, we're opening up the new hero chapter and we're putting a character on node 9 of that, and that character from node 9 is needed for a new legendary event, which starts in 1 month. Right? Like, isn't that the most Foxnext thing to do? So
yes, we're releasing heroes, like and you could get Hela on number 9, and Black Bolt's coming back.
Right, yeah, exactly. That I fully expect them to, right? And then it's like, what? We made her farmable.
Like, what? You can't unlock Black Bolt? As Guardians are farmable now. What's wrong?
Power up your roster, Commander. You can earn shards with this new offer.
Do it.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And I guess my favorite part, other than data mines, is finding out about some of these new rumors. So what new leaks have been emailed to you, my friend?
Email to me? Okay, so we use Discord these days, Boomer.
All right.
I'm just laughing at the idea of like I'm on an email list like CC forward new character leak list.
All right, no, Mr. Semantics. What new leaks have you gotten?
So, I just doesn't. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. So I get PMs and I have to like sort through it and figure out who is telling the truth based on how much of it I've heard from other sources and stuff. But I feel comfortable saying this. Again, I'm not entirely sure which characters are releasing which patch. Right now, I'm hearing about like 9 or 10 characters.
Okay.
Toad and Blob were a couple of them. But so one that I believe is coming next patch, I could be wrong, but I believe is coming next patch, I will say is a hero character and a female.
Ooh.
And fits on an existing team.
She-Hulk?
So say that.
She-Hulk? No.
I will not.
Okay. Leave your guesses in the comments down below, guys. Thank you once again, Casino. Tell everybody where they can find you.
I am all over the place. Twitch.tv/casino, youtube.com/casino. Yeah, get in touch.
More YouTube content from you.
Yeah, I've been doing more YouTube lately. I got all the challenges. I'm doing a challenge series right now, showing the 3 stars of all the challenges. So
cool.
I got that. I have like 12 videos in the queue right now. So
all right, and guys, like he said in the beginning, if you want to see a specific challenge next, make sure you check out his last video that he did on the gold challenges. And guys, if you enjoyed this video, there is a podcast version if you want to just listen to this at work or driving to work. Whatever. Check that out. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, share this with all your friends, join the notification squad so you could get notified anytime a new video is up. Put out at least 4 new videos per week on this channel, and I will see you guys next time. Valley merch, there's a sale going on right now, guys. Check me out on social media and give me a Hulk fist bump, baby. Valley flying out.